Hi, welcome to this league with Illusions of Grandeur, Dimmer Tempo, or just Dimmer Illusions, as I like to call it. Um, Pretty stuck tempo deck, but we're playing recently popularized Sorin of House Markov, um, which we can combine with a large life gain spell to dome our opponent for a lot of damage. So the plan here is to have Sorin of House Markov in play, cast ourselves the classic Illusions of Grandeur. When it enters the battlefield, we gain 20 life. Then, post combat, Sorin will see we have gained 3 or more life, and then one of the activate abilities of the flipped Sorin is -1, deal damage equal to any target, equal to amount of life we've gained this turn. So that's a 1-2 punch that we can kill our opponent with. Now I've recently seen a fellow content creator play with Esper with these cards in it. So basically an Esper control deck with Illusions and Sorin of House Markov, and that also had a Arena Rector package in it. The older Rector, the enchantment one in it, and a bunch of other bad cards, in my opinion. So I just wanted to play these cards in a good deck, and Ube Dimir Tempo is just one of the better decks at the moment, outperforming Blue Black Reanimator even due to the amount of graveyard hate floating around in all decks. So we made some space by making some cuts, and I also swapped some other slots around to make Sorin better or more reliable. So the first thing I did is, compared to normal blue-black tempo, they have a bunch of Murtide regions, which is very nice because they're flyers, so you can really close the game with them. And they have barrelglyphs in the sideboard sometimes. Because I wanted to get some life gain synergies, I opted to play the barrelglyphs in the main deck. So this is a way to gain some life and make use of Sorin's flip ability and to deal damage with the backside of Sorin. Then we have to Cling to Dust, which I'm trying over the regular Nihil Spellbombs. Of course, Nihil Spellbombs are the more impactful card, and keeping this up against a Reanimated style deck is very costly, since you can't just put it into play. But this does give us another way to flip Sorin, because we can either use this to interact with our opponent's graveyard shenanigans or to draw a card. But if we do have a Sorin that we want to flip, we can gain some life with the Cling to Dust. And what I like about the Cling here is we can just play it early to remove something from the graveyard, draw a card or gain some life, and then later, if we do have a Sorin that we want to flip, we can use the escape ability to do that. Then maybe it's good to talk a bit about Sorin itself, since outside of just you gained a bunch of life, it flips and deals damage. What does it do? I've been wanting to play with Sorin for a bit, mostly because I've been getting crushed by it in a Vintage Cube. And I remember one game I had a turn 2 Oko, but my opponent flipped their Sorin, and Sorin was just more powerful than Oko on that board state, and I just got destroyed by it. So okay, card can actually be strong. And I'm curious how that translates to Legacy. A 2-mana 1/4 with lifelink. Legendary at that. Not the most powerful stats for the Legacy format, but nice, doesn't die to everything. It has Extort, my favorite ability of all time for limited. For those who haven't played it, one of the sets had the black-white deck was just basically all Extort, and my favorite deck was just a pile of black-white random cards that had Extort on them and removal, and you just killed your opponent by playing your removal spells and paying extra for Extort, and I had a great time with it. So I love this mechanic. I love getting to play with it again. And so the front side had as Extort is 1/4 life linker, so without anything else, you basically need to play 2 spells, pay 1 extra mana for both of them to drain your opponent for 2, attack with this, get the life link, and then you have gained 3 life and can flip it. Quite a lot of work, but it does come up. The backside, if it does flip, then keeps the extort. Kind of neat. You can still extort if you have some spells and the game goes on. Then the +2, borrowed from Oko, the +2 create a food. Quite a lot of loyalty, gets a food into play, but doesn't really do anything else at that point. Like I said, very reminiscent of Oko, which also started at 3 loyalty and at a +2. Now, of course, it doesn't have the Oko just turn anything into a random creature ability on the -1. It just deals damage to any target to the amount of life you've gained. So ideally, of course, you've gained 20 life and kill the opponent, but also if you just bust for food once, you now crack the food, you get the lightning bolt something. Or ideally, you already gained 3 life. From the turn that you flip this, so you can immediately -1 this and target something. Now, if you've connected with a barrel goy, maybe you did like 5 or 6 damage with that attack. Now you get to really deal some damage with Sorin. And then it does have an ultimate, which you get to pretty fast if you don't have anything to deal damage to with the -1. And that's -6, gain control of target creature, and it becomes a vampire. Now, if you do have a white permanent, which this deck doesn't have, it also gains lifelink. Which would be great, of course, but yeah, we don't get that. And we're mostly looking to make some food tokens and throw some damage around. Other than that, we just have the good cards. So it's Frog, Tamio, Cantrips, Tonsies. A bit lower on days since I need the room, but also I'm trying to play a 4-drop at some point. And the Forces and just good mana. What else? I did try to keep most of the interaction in here. So 1 shoot, 1 borrower, and the full 4 fatal push, since I do want the game to go long. Whether it's because I have an extort permanent in play and can drain my opponents out over a couple of turns, or because I want to get to 4 mana for illusions. Now, you could say, you're trying to do this in this deck, why aren't you playing 4 Sorin and 3 or 4 illusions? I think that's just worse. Maybe you should do it just if you want to try the cards a bit more. So you just play 4 Sorin and 3 illusions probably. But I like it as this. I hope that Sorin can sometimes just be good without having illusion, just synergizing with the other life gain cards or flipping itself off of some spells. And so we don't need a lot of illusions, because we hopefully don't always need to have it. And illusions can still do something if you don't have a Sorin, since you can pitch it to force a will. So blue cards are good, I guess. So I'm just trying this to keep the rest of the shell as intact as possible. I think you could easily argue to cut a Shoot a Sheriff or a Strix or a Bowmasters for the 4th Sorin. And if you want to go a bit more combo heavy, you cut a Kling or a Bargoyf or the Borrower for 3rd illusions. I think that would be fine as well, but I want to try it as is. Nothing very interesting in the sideboard. The full 4 consigns and the no rod, just to try and keep up with the Mystic Forge combo deck, and consigns also good together with the Harbinger against Eldrazi. 2 Hydroblast, which I like at the moment, with Moon Stumpy being popular. A random Plague Engineer, which is just a decent card that sometimes does nasty things. And then a couple of pieces of Graveyard Hate here. In Surgical, Cage, and Nile Spellbomb to go along with the 2 main deck Cling to Dust. Because we already have the 2 Klings, and we have the 1 Nile Spellbomb, I don't want to go overboard versus Blue-Black Reanimator with very targeted spells. So maybe on the draw where I'm slower, I board them 1 Surgical or not, and I just don't really need more than that. If I see they keep all the reanimation stuff in, maybe you also bring in the Cage. Yeah, let's get into the game. Here we are for round 1. We're on the draw with a, well, decent hand. This is definitely showcasing that illusions is always fine to pitch to Force of Will. This is a keep. We have a daze, a good 1 and 2 to play into lands. So yeah, don't see a reason to get away from this one. Our opponent is mulliganing to 6. Let's see what they do with that. They kept the 6, and let's see what we're up against. Volcanic Island. So it could be something like Blue Red Delver, but my initial thought here with the current state of Legacy is that this is quite likely to be show and tell. From Volcanic Island, I don't really expect non-basic hate. They could have Wastelands, of course, so that could be a reason to go for a basic here. Yeah, I don't mind it. I don't. Stifle really barely sees any play. Just go for the basic island. And with Temio. I'm fine with getting dazed here. I'm not going to daze back. I would like to Temio, but no, it's good. By the way, if you're certainly hearing something, that's crickets. Getting my own wasteland here. I actually don't mind wastelanding here, mostly because I don't really have good proactive plays in my hand, so I'd like the game to take a bit longer, so I'll just pass here. If they don't use the mana, I'll just wasteland them in their upkeep. And see where we go from there. Alright, no responses, so definitely no brainstorms or something. Ooh, Prismatic Vista, not what I expected, so now my mind is going to Jeskai control. With days? No. Interesting to see what they're going to be on. So there's some consideration here to just brainstorm. And I think I like that. Let's see what we get here. I don't especially need to build for Strixure, and I have a good spot here to shuffle. Could wait a turn, but alright, another Force of Will. If I keep my Force of Wills around, I'm definitely planning on pitching one to the other. Definitely have enough lands. I think I'll just get rid of one of the Shoot Sheriff, which is currently on top, so I'll just pass the turn and see if I have to do something with that. If nothing happens, I'll just get my Surveil land and get my value out of that one. One thing I'll definitely be trying to figure out, as you can hear, there's a couple of crickets in the room at the moment. As some of our animals just got some food. I'm gonna see if I can do something with my mic settings to get that a bit less picked up by my mic. Just so do let me know if you if it's annoying or not. If everyone's like, no, it's fine, it's a nice bit of ambiance, then maybe I'll keep them in, but it's not the plan, at least. So I like drawing the Bowmasters there. Could be good. I do think I will just run them out, since I don't also want to play my Baleful Strix. Ooh, a frog. I really like that. I will just attack here. There's some stuff that can punish this, but if I use anything on my Bowmasters, then at least it's not hitting the frog. And I'm happy just keeping all the other blue cards in my hand. Since I expect we're going to be fighting over something here. But we'll see. Yeah. I'll just take my turn, and at this point, they're the ones having to make a move. I'm guessing a sort of plowshares in my future, but still interested about the days. I'll just start by attacking. See if anything weird happens here. Snapcaster? No, dress down. Do I want to fight over that? I do get my card back immediately. That's kind of nice, but yeah, I don't need to. It would be kind of free since they're drawing a card. I'm getting a card. And now they brainstorm. Yeah. Definitely getting punished for not fighting over the dress down here, I think. Maybe I should have thought that through a bit better, since I have all these cards that I want to use. So I should probably just force it with illusions, but oh well. Cling. I don't expect it to be necessary, but I actually won't shuffle since I do have the delta for that. And I'll just keep this around. Just in case some Mystic Sanctuary stuff is going on. And I can always just draw a card with it after I shuffle. And have it around for a future Sorin flip. Is it 40 Erlingus? No. Interesting. That's quite annoying. But yeah, that definitely just happens. And I'll fetch away the lands that are on top of my library. I'll get a basic just in case, I think. Yeah. This looks like a deck that could have some back to basics in it. And I'll get rid of the Supreme Verdict since, well, they could Mystic Sanctuary that back, though their mana base isn't looking very Sanctuary friendly. Well, we find another Wasteland. I don't mind firing that off on the Tundra. Yeah, I think I'll just start on Baleful Strix here. So I look a bit deeper before pondering. And now I'll ponder, and if I have to shuffle, I can always Misty instead of Wastelanding. Ew, we find the Sorin here, which I kind of like. Yeah, I'm fine with this. I think I'm okay with drawing the Force of Will. So if I have a blue card here, I have force blue card, force blue card. And I want the brainstorm around for next turn. I think I do. So I'll just put it for Sorin and brainstorm. Don't shuffle. I will wasteland them now. It's kind of annoying to wasteland here since it does take some mana away from me with regards to extorting and stuff like that, but just limiting them on the options, forcing them, if they have another Supreme Verdict, for example, to get a basic or anything like that. It's definitely worth something. So what's this? The pause almost makes me think it's a Murktide, but I wouldn't expect a Murktide from the deck. Double Ponder. So at least they get to sculpt their hands. They shuffle the first one. And let's see what we get here. So we know the top card of our deck is a Force Will at the moment, so I don't really want that, but I also don't necessarily want to fetch it away if I don't have to. I'll just play a Saurian and pass a turn, and the plan here, of course, is to just illusions next turn and hope nothing else happens, though it's likely that they have a bunch of removal in hand since they just 2-for-1 with the Supreme Verdict. I could see them doing the same again. The Fairy, that's definitely something I want to fight over. So I want to keep the illusions around, which means I think I'll pitch this Brainstorm. And even though they have 8 days in the deck, no, I don't need to extort here. I was thinking about it, but so there goes a dress down. I'll definitely force back again. And because I targeted the original Teferi, I can now extort here before anything else has to resolve. Oh, that's for the wrong color. Right. That wasn't ideal. Now there's a Force of Will on top of my deck. So I'll definitely just shuffle, since I don't want it here. Get myself an Underground Sea. And draw for turn. So the question is, do we want to run into days here? I think the answer is yes. Just check if they have it. They might. But it's also fine. Not gonna dig for a land here first. They had another Force of Will, pitching the Murktide, so they did have that. Alright. So not this turn, but most likely next turn we get to flip the Sorin if you want, if it's still around, since we'll have a Ponder to extort and have to find a other spell. And we can always cling something to flip it. Oh, I still expect it to die here. Though if we do get the double extort up, we also get to kill the opponent. Yeah, this is the removal. And a Tameo. Alright. They have no cards left, but we do need to find something. Yeah, let's start on a Ponder. Push, Baragoi, Bowmasters. That's all pretty good. I think I like just not taking too much risk here. And I think that means just pushing the Tameo to make sure that they don't get anything out of it. Well, is it? I could also just keep this back and they get one draw out of it, but I think that's already giving them too much wiggle room, especially when my cards are this good, since these are just amazing cards. Does it make sense? Yeah, I think I'm fine with drawing the Barrow-Glyph before the Bowmasters. So, alright, we'll just gem stuff. They don't have mana for Supreme Verdict, so with 0 cards in hand, they can't have both. And let's see what they can do. If they draw another Murktide now, it could be annoying, but otherwise, I think we're pretty fine here. And now, since I didn't do anything, I think I will just pass, since Bowmasters is lethal here, and we can just draw it. I should have done this in their second main phase, by the way. Oh, and not pass the turn. Alright, so I should have cracked in their second main phase the clue, played the Bowmaster, so if they dress down in response, they don't get to have the dress down in my turn as well. Now I think it's very likely that I do get away with this. But I'm taking on risks. I have no reason to. Alright, yeah, that basically locks up the game for me. Now I'll do it the way I should have done last turn, and in their second main phase, play the Bowmasters. Maybe I should have played it in their upkeep, but if I'm doing it later in the turn, I should have done it second main phase. Alright, and we got there. So against Jeskai control with at least 1 daze. Interesting. So we did see at the ferry. I also expect 4-tier Lengas, so I like the spell pierce here. Hydroblast, probably not. Like, it's not good against force, but that's probably everything. And Long Goodbye, not the greatest, but definitely better than a Fatal Push here. So what don't I want? Not interested in a Fatal Push. Might want to keep the Shoot the Sheriff around, because we did see their Murktide. And I wouldn't mind trimming some number of Force of Wills, but what are the other cards we like here? Don't think Harbinger is where we want to go. Don't think Plague Engineer is great. I think Spellbomb and Hydroblast are both considerations. We need at least one more card. I think the first Hydroblast. It's always force pitchable, but also if you hit a 4-tier Lingas or something like that with it, that would be great. Who do you want the second one? Over a daze or a force of will are basically the considerations. And I think the answer is no. So I'll just do it like this. There's a chance that the Hydroblast is better than daze, but I only have 2 dazes. I need to keep them honest. And yeah, it's not great. I really want a hand that has proactive plays against a deck like theirs, but I also don't think I can mulligan this. Just solid. Alright, they did not shuffle their ponder. Did get a second color now, but I'm not very... I don't think I'm required to get a basic here, so I'll just fire off this Thoughtseize. We've seen Ashiok, Pyroblast, Plow. Definitely just taking the Ashiok. Just want to have that out of there before it becomes an issue, since that's definitely a card I can just lose to. So now it's Tundra, Thundering Falls, Vista. So pretty good chance we get to use our Wasteland pretty well at some point. Here's the Thundering Falls. And a Ponder, that's a card we didn't know. Kind of interesting here, if we do hit their falls, there's a chance that this has to get a mountain since they want to have their Pyroblast online. So we can squeeze them a bit on that front. I would love to play the Psychic Frog, but I think it's better to Thoughtseize them first. Make a more accurate plan. So it's Brainstorm, which I would love to get out of their hand, and a Pyroblast and the Swords. The Pyroblast I could Hydroblast if I want. So if I don't wasteland them, I get to Psychic Frog with Hydroblast back up next turn. That would mean I basically give them a new hand with the Brainstorm. Yeah, let's just hope their Brainstorm isn't too great, since I do want to get something going here. Just play a Marsh Flats. Maybe this should have been a Delta in case I want to get a basic island. But I think it's fine. So are they going to fire off the brainstorm here? They probably do. It makes sure that they can resolve it before I get my Bowmaster online. But they go with a fetch, so I'm expecting a 3-mana Planeswalker here. Which is annoying, since that basically cost me my Hydroblast. Oh no, it's the Murktide. It's even more annoying, since I have to have a good think about what I'm going to do with that. They do have the Pyroblast up. So I'm definitely getting punished here for taking the Swords of Plowshares and not the Pyroblast. If I force this, pitching the Hydroblast, they Pyroblast back. They have a Murktide that exiled 3 spells. So it's 6/6. Definitely a lot bigger than my Psychic Frog. The other option is to force it with my Psychic Frog. Then I have Hydroblast for their Pyroblast. That means that I have nothing in hand against their Brainstorm and Tundra. I still think that's better. So I know all 3 of their cards. Yeah. I'm not happy about this, but because of how I played it and because I have the Pyroblast, I think this is my best option. They just let it slide. Alright. That might be bad news for me, but so they'd rather keep the Hydroblast open, the Pyroblast open, than pressure me. No, don't want another Force Wheel here. Yeah, I'll play the Tamiyo. I'll just wasteland them. I could wait until there's a Tundra in play and wasteland that, but just keeping them off of more mana I think is good as well. So I think the reason why they played like they did last turn is that they're putting me on a daze. And just playing around the daze with the Pyroblast isn't too weird to do. So there's a good chance as well that they decide to Pyroblast around daze here. I think I just have to hope that my Tamiyo gets to draw a couple of cards before they find a white removal spell. And depending on how their mana works, there's a chance this Tundra gets shuffled away if they have another land. A Ghost Vacuum. Yeah, okay. That's fine. So I hope that this doesn't mean they have a Plow as well. Since they probably don't have another red out of that Vista. Alright, we get our card in here. And because they have verdicts and everything, I'll just pass the turn. See if they kept their Tundra around. No. So I'm at this point I'm basically just calling that they don't have the Tundra around anymore. I think I like just cracking the clue here. Do I? Yeah, I think so. Let's do that. And see what happens. Is this where they Pyroblast my Tamiyo? I'll blast it back still. I will go for the basic island. So I don't really need the triple black for anything. I was going to say, and let's see if they have their days, but no, they did find the Plow. Alright, annoying. That means that they have a card advantage engine now and I don't. And there's the days. All right. Kind of interesting. They played around days for a while, then decided they won't play around days anymore. And at that point, I draw 2 of them. So they have 0 cards in hand right now. I think I want to just use my mana this turn anyway, so if they get a clue, I can't really punish them for drawing with it. And I'm just going to do this and hope their draw isn't just a removal spell. So here they get their clue in. Let's see if they crack it, or if they have something else to do. Not ideal. Let's just start with an attack. So is there a reason to Misty here? If I double days, I might want to have it, but I can always hardcast one of them, so I'll just keep them in hand. Alright, keeping my graveyard nice and tidy with the vacuum. And going for that clue. Allows us to have a bit more pressure, but it's definitely better for them to have a card. Since they're still plenty healthy here. Alright. I really wish they draw some cards that have to end up playing today, since they basically confirmed 2 turns ago that I didn't have it. And then drew 2, so I really hope they just jam stuff into it. But it's looking like that's not happening. Illusions. Alright. Now we'll play out the reinforce at this time, by the way. I have multiple cards I want to brainstorm away now, but also I really want to pick up the sewers, and then because I have to replay it as a tap land, I delay my mana for a bit, so it's good to have a land in hand. Alright, they crack it. They're now up to 4 cards, 5 from their turn, so definitely pulling very far ahead here. I'm far away from having enough pressure. Alright, this is good for me probably. The ferry. I'll pick up this sewers. So don't really want them bouncing this orc army. Or the bowmasters, I guess, but alright, getting their attack in. Spell is. Alright, I'll just start with surveilling, see what we find. Baragoyf, that's definitely better than nothing. Now there's a good chance that I don't want to run it out, even though they don't have the double white yet. Can't really afford to get it all swept up with one spell, but definitely depends on what's going on. The main reason why I'm saying this, there's a good chance they have cards like Supreme Verdict in their hand right now, and there's the second white. This is not a Murktide, we could also have a problem. It is a 6/6 Murktide, alright. Well, Baragoyf can attack into that, but it's certainly stopping my Bowmaster from doing its thing. So I'll just run out the Baragoyf here. And hope we have that survive for a turn or 2. Now, the Ghost Vacuum does have it under control with regards to its life total. Or its its power and toughness, but 3/4 is still solid enough, and with it currently has 1 creature on their side and 2 instant sorcery, but as long as it has power and has that touch, I'm fine with this. It'll be hard for them to get it to actual 0 power. Though getting a deck in with it at 3 or 4 would definitely be preferable, since that makes Bowmasters a lot better. So this currently only has 1 creature underneath it, which is the Murktide Regent, which is not too threatening. And they're 2 lands away from it, but I'm more afraid of the 5 cards in their hand. The Fairy. And definitely want to be spell piercing that. Let's see if that works. It did, that's nice. Now they have a good hard think about running into days, I guess, or not. Maybe they're considering keeping something back to block the Barrowgoyf, which is a good idea, because this Orc army can't really get in, but I think I will take the opportunity to daze this. Just because I really want to get the use out of these dazes. They are racking up quite some mana, and this maybe prevents them from finding a Supreme Verdict or something like that. Ooh, a Ponders, not too bad, not too bad. I could get my attack in first, just in case this connects, but I don't think that's as good as trying to find a removal spell. Now, a long goodbye definitely doesn't hint the Murktide, but I think getting the Tamio out of the way is still worth quite a bit. So what I'll do is I'll put it such that the Underground Sea can get milled. Now I'll attack with everything. So they can make this into a 4, but it's still enough. So I think we got it. Alright, we got there. Definitely didn't do the Sovereign Illusions thing this game. We had illusions in hand for quite a bit. But, well, I guess that's the advantage of not putting too many bad cards in your deck. The good cards can still win games. Alright, catch you in the next one. Welcome to round 2. Looks like we're against a Yorion deck. With GTL, I'm expecting it to be a blue deck, but we'll see. We'll keep this hand. Not perfect. I think an interesting question is here, should you lead on a basic island or on black mana? I think I want to lead on basic island here, since getting Wasteland is just too punishing, and I have to ponder to find another land, and any other land I naturally draw already gives black, except for Wasteland, so it's fine. Let's see what they're on. I'm expecting some blue deck with Sword Splashers in it, but could be anything. Undercity Sewers, alright. So kind of shifting that expectation now to maybe something Esper based, but could be just about anything. Oh, that's great. So I think I won't be pondering here. I'd rather use my mana more efficiently. And I think I'll go for a Bowmaster's turn. It also makes it a bit easier to combine the Ponder and a Baleful Strix, or a Ponder and a Clue next turn to flip the Tamiyo, which would be nice. Now we'll just run it out here. use my mana. And there's a decent chance that there are Bowmaster deck as well, which makes this worse. Maybe I should have given that more consideration, but since I really get blown out now, if I want to play a Baleful Strix or crack a Clue, and they do have the Bowmaster. No, it appears they're not, since I think this is going after, not after the Bowmaster, it's going after the Demio. Alright. Yeah, let's start by attacking. Just to see if they're they do have the Bowmaster or something like that. Maybe it's just a plow. No, it's a Velia. I'm happy I can push that and hope that works. But yeah, seeing the slot dude, maybe I should have given that more of a consideration before just attacking into it. And now we're pondering to a Black Source or a Wasteland, basically. Ooh, these are good cards, though. It's not a Black Source or a Wasteland, but it does allow us to Tameo Dotties next turn or Frog. So, even though it's very, very rough on my mana, so just working with 2 mana a turn, I do think I want to keep this around. It's tricky since they are obviously a deck that can just run away with the game. If I give them too much time, and drawing these cards is basically giving them a lot of time since I'm not using mana. But I think the card quality there was a bit too high to get to shuffle it away. Since they were all just solid cards that have to be dealt with, unless they're doing very good things. So let's see what this is getting. So my plan is probably to Tameo plus Nazis. Yeah, new Velia. So they're trying to set up their engines. So now the question is, I do get a turn here to just have them not do anything, but I can't Nazis anymore if they bounce with mana open. So I think that means I just have to. I'm just locked into Nazis in here. Three lands and a Velia. All right. Not what I was expecting, but definitely good news. So here's a new Tameo. I think there is some consideration to just trading my Bowmasters here, but I don't think 1 damage is enough to give him that opportunity. Since basically the way they get out of this is by blinking the Recruiter, either with Yorion or with more Velia type effects. So there's the Flood Strand. And let's see if they find something else. Oh, a new Recruiter. So this is Velia number 3, or do we have something else to get here? I'm guessing it's Velia number 3. Actually wondering if this is a better line for them than just putting Yorion in hand, but I guess they could be afraid of a Daze or something. Since Yorion does stop my board and lets them re-trigger this Recruiter. So my current game plan, if nothing changes, is to play the Psychic Frog and then turn after that borrow the Velia and the turn they are going to attack with it, and hope I can get enough done. Here's that Cling that I really don't need, so I'll definitely attack here. Now I basically get a 1-turn window to resolve something useful. The other thing I could do is just run out the Baleful Strix here, but no. The reason would be to punish the Valia when it starts attacking, so if something happens to my Petty Theft, that could be a lot more valuable. So I'm guessing second Surveil land here. Yeah, there are Yorion decks, so they have room for that. And let's see what they have here. So if they start attacking with the Valia, I think I'm just losing the game. Unless I can kill it on the first attack, which is where the Baleful Strix might come in. But it's definitely not pretty. If they draw nothing else, then this is a good spot for me, of course. But if they do have some decent draws, then we might be in trouble. So there's the Tundra. Hoping to see a Yori into hand here, because if they don't, they have something better going. And Yori into hand might already beat me. Alright, there's the Yorion. Alright, let's start by attacking. Let's not give them a free creature. And I will make this one fly. Do I? Yeah, I think a card just hitting a land here would be so much better. And I want to make this Demio flip, ideally. Ooh, we're not playing out the Valia this turn. Plowing. I think this is a fine spot to brainstorm. Alright, so we get our land and a Force of Will. I think I won't be casting the Borrower this turn. So they'll untap and play the Yorion. Yeah, I'm just gonna force our first spell that they play, basically. So I think I'm fine doing it like this. Definitely not forcing on that. Getting a new clue. Plussing this. Yeah, next turn I get to draw a Fatal Push for that Valia. I think that works out. And I don't need to borrow anymore and just hope that I can do what I want to do. Which is force the Yorion and then deal with the Valia later. Really happy that they had to use the mana here for the plow. And they don't just jam the Valia plus the Yorion, since then I would be really squeezed to deal with it. And of course, I get that preventing me from connecting with Valia, with the Frog is good, but I think this works out for me. There's the Wasteland that we know about. I'm guessing this is with Wasteland open. Yeah. Alright, let's hope they don't have a random daze. That would certainly be a blowout. They did not. There goes the Wasteland. And now we'll have to make sure that we have the Fatal Push in hand. I think that puts us in a decent spot. Now we don't have to minus on that Fatal Push, so I'll just plus. Can always minus next turn if we have to. And I'll attack with the army token at some point since they don't have attacks in my Tameo plus. Let's see what they do here. If they draw something good. They're a super grindy deck, even from this spot. If they just jam a bunch of stuff like Solitude, we can get in trouble, or more Recruiters plus Vials, or stuff like that, or an answer to Demio. We're just very lucky drawing this Fatal Push, since it means we can try to close out the game. If we don't find the Fatal Push and we have to minus Demio, I think there's a good chance we just get out top decked. So here's an Overlord, milling 4 and getting them a creature back. So that could be the Yorion or one of the Valias or the Solitude. They return to Yorion, so definitely going for the value on the Recruiters. Makes sense, makes sense. So then they get to blink 2 Recruiters and Overlord next turn. So it's up to us to find a blue card for the Force of Will, I think. I think at this point that's more important than getting to the Demio. Maybe not. Maybe it's still just finding something. If I find a Force of Will here, yeah, that's great. So and I can try to wasteland them off of Yorion. I really do want to plus here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna crack a clue, hope to find a blue card. Alright, that's a Valia we know about. There's the blue card. It seems to all be working out for us. So I guess before they get anything else going, I'll just cast this on that. And now I think I wasteland here, since then they have to draw another land. It squeezes them a bit on their mana. They have 3 white, 2 black. They do use white a lot more, but I think I'm fine with wastlanding here. It's close, but yeah, I don't need to attack with the Orc Army token. We're just gonna win with the ultimate is the plan. We have used 2 Force of Wills after this turn. Alright, then we get there. If they have a land there and actually get the Yorion, double Recruiter, and the Overlord, there's a chance we still just lose, even if we Tameo up ultimate. If we don't draw the right mix and they do find everything they want off of that. But if they can't resolve that, then I think it's pretty much over. Now, we don't get a lot of good stuff post-board. I think I do put in the Plague Engineer just as a value card that messes with their Recruiters or other small creatures that they can have. They have a bunch of stuff that's vulnerable to consign. Like it can counter a Solitude removal. It can really mess with Yorion, stuff like that. So it's something to take into account. But we don't have a lot of stuff to board out, I think. I think Thoughtseize are better than removal spells. Removal spells are fine. I really want to answer those Valias so they don't get it going. This might be a matchup where we just... I don't want the Force of Wills, but... we also do need the tempo, since we can't keep up with our late game. So that's an interesting balance, I think. I think what I'll do is I'll trim on the forces and try and get a bit of value in here. They don't have a lot of good targets for Fatal Push outside of Valia, I believe. But as you may have heard me say, and notice how much I talk about it, that card is really scary for us. I could see this being a matchup with so much interaction that having a Sorin do its thing is just good enough, and we don't need to go over the top with a combo. think that's not too strange to say, since they do have a lot of interaction. It could be that this matchup is just bad enough that we do have to do it. We do have to just keep in all our forces and our combo. But I like trying it without. And of course, you could always cut dazes, but I think one of the ways you win these kind of matchups is by being the more efficient deck. So I'll try that. This hand has a lot of bad cards that I don't want to see early, so I'll mulligan it. This is better. I'll get rid of one of the pushes, I think, or a borrower. I'll get rid of a borrower. It's just not efficient for the early game. This at least can make sure that I don't fall behind too far. And I kind of want to use the Statsies to hopefully get there like one removal spell and get this frog through. And since they do have a bunch of wastes, I'll lead on the basic that I drew. Definitely been drawing quite hot this league. Oh, it's only one and a half match in, but the top of my deck has definitely been nice to me. Oh, here we go. Force Wasteland and a blue card, and then the Velia plan with a recruiter. So the problem here is if I take the force to try and protect Frog, they can either bounce it with the Fairy or they can go Velia into recruiter, and they have 3 lands, so they definitely can just curve that out. I could take one of their lands. That makes it less likely that they get to 3 in time. That leaves them with all the powerful stuff, though. I could take Velia, so they just don't have something to do on turn 2. But I do have double push in hand, so I don't think that's the way I want to go. So it's either, I think it's either the recruiter, which is their source of card advantage here, or it is just the land. I think I like taking the recruiter here. It's probably the weakest card in their hand, but it's the card that can very easily put me in the dirt, let's say. And I hope they just don't find a removal spell, so they find it required to force my frog. It's kind of awkward here that I can't really just blindly run out the frog, get it countered, and expect to have a good turn, since if they use their Wasteland on my Underground Sea, I might be screwed. So there's the Witch Enchanter. So they have their Velia here, and I think this... Because we know about the Wasteland, I just have to ponder. Ooh, cards I really like here. But I don't think I can keep this, knowing that they have the Wasteland. Oh, 4 Fatal Push might be a bit much. I said I want to keep them in because of the Velia, but... I'm happy they're not fighting back there. This is the Teferi, alright. They want to use this knowing that I probably have more interaction for it post-board. I think is the consideration here. But I'll definitely run out the frog and make them deal with that first. I'm guessing this is getting forced. Yeah. This is a force with Brainstorm. Now we really need to draw land, but we also really need to draw action, so this is kind of a tough spot. I guess draw an island, draw something else good here. Yeah, maybe they have something like Spell Pierce in their deck, so I definitely want to push this right now. Oh, and they have Teferi, I have to do it right now. And I need a land before this Teferi can draw another card. So if this gets to bounce something, or like if this is a recruiter, that's the Yorion to hand. Alright. Land. Another land. And another spell I can cast. Alright, this is gonna be a tough one. They're unlikely to minus Teferi this turn, so that gives me one more draw, I guess. Maybe now they're a bit more incentivized to just cash it in. No, that's what I thought. Alright, land. Basic island. Perfect. So we're definitely getting rid of the Teferi, since it'll become a huge issue if that sticks around. Now we just have to deal with the fact that there's a Yorion coming down. And we don't have the Wombo combo to get out of this. Alright, it's nice for us that we at least get a target for these fatal pushes. I think I'll start on a ponder here. Our own wasteland is definitely welcome here. They have one white and only one blue. And I don't mind a land for next turn. That does mean that they're like 2 land drops away from Yorion, so I don't really need to consign, but so I wonder what land I have to wasteland here. I think it's white, which is how white heavy their deck is, but cutting them off of their brainstorms could also be very strong. I think it's white. And I think this was definitely a mistake. They had 1 unknown, I believe, or maybe even 2. So I definitely should have wasteland their white first before committing the fatal push, since they could have had a Felia, and that could have messed us up. So just running out the Sorin here. And I think I tried to flip it immediately, since that's the way we can get some something going here. That means we could clear the Baleful Strix. Prevent that from drawing a card. Though the backside is of course very vulnerable to just getting Yorioned. I'm fine doing this now. Since they don't have white, they're less likely to have removal here. But they do have a good think about this. They also had a think about, sorry, maybe they have a Force of Will and are debating it's worth pitching the Yorion. Alright, flipping the Sorin. Exiling Solitude with Solitude. Alright, so if they top deck a land, we're definitely in trouble. We have a consign on top. Oh no, we shuffled. We had a consign earlier, but it would have been not ill-spaced here anyway. Alright, let's hope they don't just slam Yorion here, and also don't do anything else relevant. Okay, that's a best case scenario. That's a land that they can't use this turn. Well, I guess the best case scenario would be like a pile of white cards and never finding land, but that's a lot less likely. And another land into their graveyard. Wouldn't mind a Bowmaster. Brainstorm is fine. I do have Thoughtseize in my deck. Do I brainstorm here? I also have wastelands, yeah. Let's do it. Ooh, that's actually not too bad. So the issue is here is if I just play Sorin, they get to draw a card from their Baleful Strix. And next turn I get to shoot the thing. Then the turn after that I get to engineer the bird. But it is nice getting the Sorin to play now. Yeah, let's do it. Not too happy here, but at least it uses our mana. And I could also just shoot this turn, I guess. But that still doesn't deal with the Baleful Strix problem of them drawing a card. Of course, if you see this, you're kind of like, well, we could just find another land and illusions. Life would be great. But yeah, we boarded those out. I still think it's fine. All right, here comes the bird. And there comes the big bird. And let's hope that we don't get avalanched by their cards. So there's a consideration here to just extort. But I don't think I will. And don't think I'm pushing. I'm drawing the engineer next turn, and just so much better for me to be able to target something else with it. Though I should have kept open the swamp, because this could happen. Yeah. Not that it really matters, since I couldn't play the Plague Engineer now anyway. Caracas for my Sorin. Alright. So now I'm drawing a 3-drop, and I have a Sorin that gets Caracas every turn, so definitely not in a great spot. And I won't replay it because I'm lower on time than my opponent. It also just gives them a target for Solitude or something that they might just want to run out. Right. There goes my Plague Engineer. Brainstorm. Yeah, let's just jam it. Force of Will. Alright, not the worst, but definitely not great that I allow them to use their mana like that. That is an issue, since I used almost all my removal already. Not all of it, though. Bouncing it does delay the turn, and then I can block it with the borrow the turn after if they attack. So I think that's fine. So I guess them bouncing their own Tamio here is a big issue. Yeah. I know that they're a good player, so I should have just not done that. Should have just waited a turn, maybe consigned it, and then played Borrow as a blocker next turn. Yeah, I don't know why I'm playing so bad sometimes. seems like I just don't like winning. I was also my excuse is that my dog was distracting me. Since he was making noise because he doesn't get enough attention. No. All right. Not hard casting it. Going for the value of trying to find something to flip it. Well, they did. Got their Yorion back. I think we know what we're drawing. Yeah, the Saurian. All right. So now the question is, does our plan change? I mean, we could have these illusions in there, but I think if we get our Saurian going, it's already good for us. Sorry about that. Do I Harbinger just to mess with their mana? Their mana looked quite bad. And they do have Caracas that messes with my Saurian and Metamios. Maybe? Nah, that doesn't seem better than anything I have here. It could be better than a Force of Will. Yeah, let's try it. Fine. Yeah, it's not a deck I play against a lot. It just doesn't see that much play because it's not the best of decks against a lot of the more efficient, streamlined, or even just Eldrazi decks. But yeah, this deck that's trying to go a bit bigger than tempo, but also not do the reanimator thing is definitely the kind of deck that their super grindy deck is built to beat. Which kind of makes me think that I should just not have this much removal and just go for more forces. Try to push through, but yeah. Let's see what we get. Or at least we're in the play now, and we're definitely keeping this. I'm fine with getting wastelanded here, so I'll just start on the Underground Sea. One of the advantages of being on the play. Is having them, they make the tough choices. Yeah, with this hand I really want to get my stuff going, and there's a good chance that if they have two removal spells, my Psychic Frog isn't getting protected by this day, so I think that's enough of a reason to protect this one with days. Just preventing the worst case scenario, I guess. Going to surveil with that and pass a turn. See what they got here. So this mana, it's, I was going to say likely to be a Valley after they pass, but they have their own Tamio. Let's get their surveil in. Cling, no. We'll just nicely put that in a graveyard for the future. And another Cling. So I think it's a kind of interesting debate here, whether I Frog or Strix. Since Frog is better, of course, to have in play, but Strix is very good against Tamio and not as vulnerable to removal. So, for example, if they Teferi here, which is a decent chance, then I'd much rather have them punch the Strix. And most importantly, I shouldn't think about this too long. Yeah, let's not mess with them having to ferry, which seems just very likely on the way this game is. It's mostly their mana base that makes me afraid of the ferry. Just nothing black going on. Not doing a whole lot on the early turns either, so they have to have something in hand, and it's probably a bunch of tree drops. And the tree drop that makes me most afraid now is the ferry. I didn't fully consider the fact that Frog plus Cling doesn't flip my Tamio, which I would like to do. And I don't really get to pressure the Tamio here, but yeah, that's not too bad. So it starts on 3, goes to 4. Yeah, I'm missing 1 life gain to kill it with Sorin. If there would be a creature in the graveyard, which there is not. So, but that's something to do maybe on a later turn. We have 4 mana. We can Sorin, Cling with Extort, flip it. We've gained 4 life, and now we can shoot something like Demio for 4. But at that point, Demio would already be on a higher total. Yeah, so this is definitely punishing me for just going with the Strix, since now we don't have the Frog in play. I haven't seen a Bowmaster out of them yet. Maybe they just don't have room for it, or maybe they just play just a few, but I'm expecting Bowmasters. Alright, so whatever we do, we're definitely attacking with the Tamio, and it isn't great here to do the Sorin thing, because we don't have enough damage to kill the Tamio now. I think it's better here to go for Frog than anything else. If they minus this on the plow, we could cling that and try to get through this like that, but I'm not too high on our chances here. Okay, so they plus it. Caracas. Mm-hmm. All right, that's actually not too bad, since maybe we get to do the Sorin thing now. Player Delta and a Sorin, and definitely because they have the Caracas, I want to try to do this turn. Very much expecting something to happen to this Frog. So first moving through blockers, so they can't block it anymore, and I will discard a card here, just to at least do 1 damage. And see what their response is. Still expecting a removal spell. So this triggers at the beginning of the post-combat main phase, so we just have to do it at end of combat, basically, the Cling to Dust thing, if you want. And I'm definitely not going to move all in on them not having any removal and trying to do 2 damage with this and 4 with Sorin. I don't think that's worth it. Hull Breacher is the answer. Um, so I'm guessing that's what I'm gonna kill with my Sorin then, and hope we can get the Tamio down next turn. Do we do that? In any case, now I'll play around days here. We're already getting blown out enough by stuff. Yeah, it's gonna make this game very hard. We just basically needed at least one thing to work this turn. And because we only had one turn window underneath the Caracas, I don't think we had a lot of turns to get it going. So now we need a removal for the Hillbreacher and try and kill their Tamio through their 4-card hand. I don't have a lot of hope for us. But you never know. I guess. Could draw like a the uncounterable removal. And then flip Tamio, get it back. Cast it again on the other one of these permanents. Hope they do nothing in the meantime. I like that as a plan. Well, not as a plan. I like that if it happens to be what happens in this game, but I severely doubt the consistency of that plan. All right, land and treasure. Another solitude. Overlord. All right. I guess getting them back their solitude. Yeah. So they have a solitude, probably a white card, and a win. But we have nothing. Yeah. I mean, I can only hope that they just don't have a white card. Since if they do, we lose. And if they don't, we probably still lose, but at least we did something. So now they're just gonna... Except the first one they draw in each of their draw steps, so I can't even draw on their turn. Yeah, this is not gonna go well. I think I'm gonna pack this one in and save my energy for the next one. Between this threatening ultimate, this preventing me from drawing with all my clues, and the Overlord triggering, and them having a solitude. It's good enough. Alright, GG's opponent. And I'll catch you folks in the next round. Hey, welcome to the round. Looks like it came to me. We're on the draw and playing against another Yorion deck. Let's see what it is this time. In the dark, I would still expect that to be on the Texas variant, and with them leading on flagstones, it leads me to believe this is either white-black or mono-white with a bunch of White Orchid Phantoms. Does that change your plan here? No, not really. I think we do just start on Ponder and go from there. Second brainstorm and then shoot another land. Not really something we need, so I'll just shuffle this. We're not really looking for something specific, but one thing of note here is that we might want to keep a basic in our deck just to be able to find it with a white orchid, rather than first fetching out 2 basics and then running into the issue that if we ever get a non-basic, it gets blown up. This just some good RAM for them and some selection. I think maybe there was a consideration and just forcing there, but I'd rather force a fight over other stuff. Now we definitely have a plan. We'll start with a Psychic Frog, see if we can get into a fight over that. And then go for the Sorin, hopefully into the illusions after that. A big issue here is the Carcass, but maybe we can catch him off guard, or maybe we can find a wasteland to deal with that. Now, if they attack, I could try and get them with a frog jump. Not sure if that's worth it, since they do have a lot of removal, and we don't really want to pitch our blue cards here. Yeah, so this just happens. Let's see what they do. Really hope they cannot reset this white orchid. It would be kind of perfect to draw a wasteland here, or at least very helpful. Stoneforge Mystic. Yeah, I don't think that's the fight we're taking either. Definitely isn't going great for us, especially if they get a yeah, the formal wear here. It gets kind of tough for us, but this is the kind of spot where we really need this Sorin to be good. I think we brainstorm here because there's multiple stuff we have to deal with. All right, so the Tansies might help with the formal wear issue. I think, let's see, what do we want? Or what don't we want? I think the Bowmasters can go. But I kind of want enough lands. I kind of want... So there is a choice here. We could just get rid of both the Sorin and the Illusions and just ditch that plan completely. But what I want to do is get rid of the Force of Will and the Bowmasters. This allows me to Tansies them here and then see if I need to push a bit, or I can ponder to dig for other stuff. So it's the Formal Wear and a Flicker Wisp. The Flicker Wisp is kind of an issue here, but I can't leave them with Formal Wear. So I definitely have to take the Formal Wear. And probably have to push whatever they flicker. There's also a Lion Sash, but that's not really the main issue here. I'll just pass a turn. They're probably going to try to flicker with the Stoneforge Mystic, which means I have to push that and hope I can get something going behind that. It's these are just 4 Carcass decks, and I can't really rely on Sorin being good, but it is the kind of matchup where you do need cards like that to shine. Alright, so there's a Spirit. So now they have a Lion Sash and a Flicker Wisp. They're not going for the Sash. I think it's better to use my mana here. Well, do I want to push here? Not really. Kind of need that to answer the Flicker Wisp trigger, so yeah, let's get rid of that and see what we find. Another legend, not ideal. Let's try and find a wasteland. So there's a wasteland and 2 more lands. If we wasteland this turn, we have to draw one of these lands. Is that, how bad is that? We don't have enough mana to just play both of the legends here without also not having push up. This is interesting. I think I will grab the wasteland. Oh, I cannot draw cards. Right. Alright, so we're just gonna pass a turn here. Next turn, draw the wasteland, then fetch. Yeah. I still think that this was probably the right play, but I just wasn't aware. Really? They top decked an equipment? That would... Oh no, it's just a line size, of course. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Alright. What's this then? Just exiling something from the graveyard, alright. So next turn we get to Wasteland, Saurian, and Tameo. And hope we don't die before all of this stuff. Especially with the Flicker Wisp, they do have a lot of power. But if we can get like the Saurian to stick around, we can have quite a lot of blocking power with some life gain. Alright, so they're not going for the Flicker Wisp. I'll just take my turn then and see what they do. It's not ideal, but I think I have to accept it. So now the question is, no, I don't think I can Tameo. I think I have to Saurian here. And just pass a turn, hope they don't have a removal spell. And then I can maybe win next turn. Push a sash. Block here, gain 1 to 5, take 2. If they have anything, I'm dead, but if they don't have anything, this is kind of why you play these cards. You can just win out of nowhere. But it is very vulnerable here. So they have one unknown. If they have a plow or a carcass, I just lose. If not, there's still a lot of cards like Solitude that win them in the game. But there is hope. They just remove my blocker. Yeah, alright. Definitely didn't play that amazingly, but let's see if we can do this a bit better. So I think just because of stuff like Carcass, I want to bring in the Harbinger, bring in some removal, and probably trim a couple of forces, most likely. Still like Days in these kinds of matchups, so yeah. Let's just trim 3 forces for that. I think everything else is good enough. Good to remove some of these clings, but I kind of like what they do with the Saurians, and they're just a way to grind a bit. I think Days is better on the play than the forces, so yeah, let's do it like this. This is a keep. Once again, not perfect, but it'll have to do. Yeah, just consideration to ponder here on turn 1, just use our mana, but no, I think it's clearly here. We just sewers. And turn 2, if we don't get wastelanded, we build Constriction, go from there. Could also Soaring on 2, but if we find something like a Cling and can just, and on turn they are tapped out, flip it immediately and get the value of that, I like that a lot more. Find something like a land, I'm definitely just keeping it on top, I think. Since my hand is kind of mana intensive. Just like hitting my land drops. Let's see what they have here. Hope it's just a pass, but Ether Vial. Ether Vial on turn 1 is always good for them, but hopefully we can pressure them a bit. And I'll just go with non-basics, since I'm vulnerable to Wasteland anyway, and at least, like I said in game 1, now I have my basics in my deck for their White Phantoms, if it comes to that. Next turn I probably want to Sorin and Brainstorm, but... with the days... I could also Barrogoyf first and then go for Sorin next turn with a Barrogoyf hit. Maybe that's just better. I don't think I'll attack out of respect for Felia. If they remove my Barrogoyf and get a hit in with Felia, that's very bad. So I think I'll just do it like this. It does require some black mana, but a very small Barrogoyf. Luckily, that touch does a lot of work there. Yeah, no attacks. Let's see where this gets us. I'm guessing just a plow, yeah. Alright. No 1-drops. Makes sense. They don't play a lot of 1-drops for an 8-card deck. Typically. Yorion in hand, alright, so really going on the Vial. And a Cling. Yeah, so here we get to do that. I think that's good enough, right? Oh no, wait. there's no creature in the graveyard, of course. Yeah, I still need to play that here. The question now is, do I ponder and Brainstorm? I think I just ponder here, trying to find a land. Oh yeah, if I played this correctly, definitely you would have probably pondered into the Thoughtseize and went for Thoughtseize on this turn. Or better yet, pondered, clinged, Drewbot Island, Psycho Frog, or Island Thoughtseize. But as is, we didn't play that, right? No. But we cannot play any of these spells from that land, but I'll still make my land drop, I think. I'll go for a Thoughtseize in my hand, I think, next turn. I can always Brainstorm into the Psychic Frog if I want. If they activate the Vial, maybe I just Brainstorm in response. Not to get blown out by the 3 ones. Though, they probably would have filed it in response. Yeah, you know what? They can have it. Alright. It's a Caldera. I'm not doing anything else with this mana, and I want to Brainstorm on this turn cycle, so I'm just doing it now. Putting back. There's a small chance I want a Daze, probably not. But I'm drawing into these cards anyway, I guess. What's the chance that something actually dies? This exiles as well, right? Yeah. I'll go for the Cling and the Thoughtseize on top. And Buster. Just don't want to get myself in trouble versus Spirit of the Labyrinth. So they move the Vial up to 3. There goes his Stone Forge, probably for the Caldera, yeah. And they're getting their beats on. Notably that the Illusions loses to Flicker Wisp, which they might get off the Ether Vial. And they have the Caracas anyway, alright. Yeah, that's bad for us. I'll just Thoughtseize them. Our life total is definitely under a lot of pressure, but let's see what they do here. I'm guessing they have a Flicker Wisp. That's what the game looks like, but could also just be a recruiter or something like that. So there's a recruiter. Let's see what they get. I'm guessing this is all just pretty bad for me. Caracas messing with the Saurian stuff is definitely an issue. Okay, so they got a Skyclave. And the Yorion. So they do have to... Oh, I'm going to wasteland them, so they don't have the mana next turn necessarily. Yeah, I'll get rid of the Skyclave since I just need to get this frog into action. The alternative is to go for this Sorin into Illusions. If I want to do that, I have to brainstorm into a land here. Realistically. I think it's my best out. We also can Sorin Cling next turn. So this daze is definitely past its expiration date. Got a bit of lag on this one. And I don't think I have time for this Tamio. The other option would be to play to get rid of the illusions and just go for the Cling. But with the Caldera there, I don't think that's a realistic option. So I'll just get rid of these two. Play a land, fetch. Get a C in there. And yeah, I think it's just Sorin again. Let's see if it works this time. So Ether Vial goes up to 4. If they wasteland me, I have to top deck a land. I did shuffle, but hopefully we can alternatively get some time with the Cling and the Frog. To dig out of it. There's the wasteland. Alright, they do go for that. That's a shame for us. I basically have to clear this recruiter or that the Yorion is going to go out of hand next turn. That's not a land. So I think the best thing to do here is to get rid of our Skyclave. And I don't think I should extort here. Once again, because I can just play the Frog probably. It's my best option. And they have 1 unknown. The Vial's on 4. And I have a fit to push in hand, so I think I can safely attack here. Maybe I'm taking risks I shouldn't here, but looks like it's fine. Second main, Sorin flips. I think I should just get rid of the recruiter. Now the question is, do I keep up push for the Stoneforge to mess with their Tamio? Or do I have Frog? I think since Sorin is dying now, I think I have to Frog. Now Frog doesn't even attack through what they're doing. I'll pass it through. Should I just push now, such that they don't get to keep up the Vial? Yeah, I think so. Else, if they just pass with 5 open, I don't get to use my mana. Oh wait, I've made this mistake before now a couple of times in this league. Or I guess 2 times this league, where I just assumed I could extort with my island. Yeah, definitely a mistake I keep making. And another wasteland, that's rough. And a second Stoneforge, so they get to search out stuff anyway. Yeah, it is definitely falling apart. Since this just kills my Sorin, and yeah. I don't think I've played this correctly. I kind of wanted to flip this, but I think maybe I shouldn't because of the illusions combo, but now I get wastelanded again and I'm so far away from it. Yeah. Alright. Oh, I've heard this card is very good, so let's see what it can do. I think the answer is die to something, since they're gonna flicker the Stoneforge Mystic and in their turn form aware the recruiter. And I don't think Frog can overcome this, but I'll let them show me how they're gonna kill me. Yeah, I must say now 2 rounds in a row, this deck feels kind of rough against the Yorion Caracas control decks that just go into a lot of grind while having solid interaction for your creatures, but that's just, I think, typical of blue-black tempo, is that your white mid-range Yorion decks are just not the greatest matchups. Definitely blocking here. Let's see what happens with that. Alright, there's the Lion Sash. And I guess this gets the recruiter then. I guess just being super safe and recruiting for Solitude. They have the Ether Vial on 5, so yeah, I don't see a reason not to do that. I'll take my draw, but there's no, I don't think I have outs. And the draw is another nut. Alright. That wasn't close. Let's try if we can do it a bit better. All right, we are for round 4 and we're on the play. A 0 lander. Let's not do that. That's better-ish. Definitely keeping this. Oh, the question here is, do we just bank on the double days? Because the 3 black cards are going to be quite hard to cast in time, I think. Yeah, I don't think this Thoughtseize is making it. Or, well, yeah, I'll just get rid of one of the days. I think it's fine. It's also awkward to have to double days. Think. You know the lands. The Force Will and into a new ponder isn't enticing though. If they are on something unfair, that's nice. And if they in that ponder will help me dig. Yeah, I think I'm willing to try this. Yeah. Mostly because second ponder is just so much better at finding lands. Like looking at the new 4 cards instead of the 2 from shuffling. And no clue what the opponent is on, but passing the first turn with a Force of Will does feel safer than not. So let's see what we got. Opponent is having a think about it. About me passing into my attack step. Look, we're just a normal tempo deck. Nothing crazy going on here. Oh, this is not a Yorion deck this time. Lotus Pedal makes me feel not that sad about my Force of Will keep, I guess. Definitely not fighting over those. Tamio. Yeah. That works. So this is Doomsday then? Is my thought here? And I'll just have to try and find a black mana for a Fatal Push. I don't really want to Force Will here, and I don't want to trade my days and land drop for the pedal, so. And flipping it immediately. That is an issue. I think I have 2 days here and just accept that they get another card after Tamio. Or at least a clue. Yeah. Because I can't raise that like this. Especially if I'm potentially missing a land drop. That's just too costly. Ooh, oh, flip. Yeah, okay, that's better, but it's another turn to make this land drop. This is why I was talking about maybe ditching one of the black cards from my opening hand. Alright, so they missed their land drop as well. And oh, I'd love to Thoughtseize them here, but I think I have to get the Stamio off the table before they find something to do with it, since it's what they've got going on now. Alright, that worked. Now let's hope we find something to pressure them, since they are on all spells. So. Yeah, I think I have to Thoughtseize them. One Doomsday. I don't care about the Thoughtseize or the Oracle at the moment. Yeah, let's just grab the Doomsday. Not really in a position to punish them with his hand, so hopefully this Surveil Land gets me something. Ooh, yeah. I mean, a Wasteland is nice, but if I'm not pressuring them, I don't want to keep that around. And more land. Well, you know what they say. It's a classic. Mana Screw does beat Mana Flood if you draw out of it at some point, and well, if I'm not doing anything, they are going to draw out of it. So Here I was keeping a one island hand, and look at me now. All right, I'll settle for that. No, let's not use that ability. Let's just play this one and pass it through. That was definitely some good cards to see with the Ponder, and well, I was gonna say we just have to hope we can dodge a couple of more bullets from their side, since they do have a lot of cards in their hand now. Right, Thoughtseize is not too bad. So there's a land on top at the moment, so I'll just fetch that away, since I do need to hit something here. So now I get to use their cards, and maybe if they have Thoughtseize and like one ritual and a Doomsday, it makes sense for them to still go with this route. Withdrawing the illusions. I'm thinking, does it make sense to play a land? No, because I'm only drawing the additional cards post combat, so it doesn't. I cannot combo them by drawing into Sorin plus a 6th land. Since the Sorin is starting of second main phase trigger, so you have to do that before you connect with the frogs. So second land for a card. Brainstorming, since I really need something this turn. Did find a new land in the pedal, right? I could be in trouble. This is Ritual Doomsday and a card draw spell. Island. Alright, so they didn't find it yet. That's a frog. 3 cards in their hand. So I'll also have 3 cards so I can safely attack. Second illusions. Yeah. I'll discard those. And I'm fine discarding cards here, so I'll just start with discarding one. If we both discard our hand, it's good for me. I'll just ask them to discard their last card as well. And they do. Now let's see if we can find something to answer their frog. Opponent is asking me what's the spice, because I'm discarding illusions. Nothing. Don't worry about it. It's all fine. Nothing's happening here. Ooh, and the perfect draw. A Bowmasters to kill the frog. Opponent was just lamenting that they wish they were on the play this game, and then they saw the Bowmasters and were like, oh, I'm done with this. Yeah. Skill game has been called. I agree. So, right. So there's the Temio with Psychic Frog Doomsday deck. I think I definitely want to Spell Pierce, probably the Force of Negation. What don't I want? I think Borrower is not necessarily required here. And I think the Fair Flips aren't necessarily the good things I'm looking for with Sorin, so I could take out a Cling. It might be correct to take out the illusions, but yeah, who am I kidding? I don't want to do that. 2 cards to take out. Alright, I'll get rid of the Clings. Telling my opponent how smart I sometimes feel when I just top deck the card that's best. That's a real skill strategy. All right, so this is definitely a mulligan. This is definitely a keep, and I'll just get rid of the illusion. It's just nice that I can pitch it to foe, but I don't think that's a reason to keep it. Double push is a bit much, but I just have to hope they have a fair hand. Well, I might get super punished here for not having a tap land. Yeah, getting rid of a force of will and passing the turn, and probably having to force like something like a rainstorm or stuff like that. But let's see what they're doing. Getting their Tamio attack in, and the awkward thing here is I probably have to ponder for a land since I can't really just push and miss a land drop. For a Barrogoyf, I do have an answer to that, but it does get kind of sketchy if I don't find my black land in time, since then it also has to be a force. I will force here, but I'm not feeling great about it. So do I just frog? I think I push. And ponder? Question mark? Yeah, I think I do. Second frog and a sheriff. This means I really have to hope? No. There's just a good chance that their lost cards aren't on their fair game, and then that is just too bad. I don't really want to lock into that. I mean, I already have a card that's just good against their fair game, so. Right, getting their card advantage locked in. And the Tamio. Yeah, I'm guessing I'm just jamming this. And hope they don't have anything good. This is just, I'm daring you to have good cards. They might have. Getting rid of a dark ritual. That I don't know if that's a good sign or not. They don't need the mana. That makes sense. All right, consider. Getting optimal value. Land go. So do they have a removal spell? Probably. Bouncing the frog. Alright, alright. Thoughts using the frog. That's less okay, but yeah. Let's get our Tamio going. Yeah, I kind of want to play around days. They typically don't have it, but do I draw the psychic frog here? I think so. Once again, not great, but they clearly didn't seem to be on having the combo last turn, so hopefully that happens again. I can pick up something like a Force of Will and a blue card. Ideally, I just top deck a Thoughtseize or something. Or Force of Negation would also be quite nice. I do have to fetch if I want to top deck cards like that. But I think this means I'll just get a Force of Will. Since that's perfect use for this illusions. Yeah, Borrower is fine, I think. I kind of do want to keep the Stemio around, but maybe that's greedy. Yeah, fine with greedy here. I know my top card is still bad, so. Takes a while for this Stemio to get going, but it's something that's hard for them to interact with. That's a shame. That's even more of a shame. Yeah, now I'm really sad about interacting with her Tamio. I mean with her click. Should have probably just let my Tamio die. Not sure. See what they do here. It doesn't tell me what they put on top or bottom. What's that? Should have looked at 2 cards. Scry 2. And it doesn't tell me what they did with it. That's annoying. Alright, so I'll probably have to trade my Tamio for that. True, getting a fatal push. Yeah, maybe I find something. Thoughtseize in a day is not what I was looking for, but I'll Thoughtseize them. Yeah. Really, once again, not fetching. I was like, so this is how my train of thoughts goes. Okay, I have to fetch to enable fatal push, so I can just put 2 random cards back with brainstorm since I have to fetch anyway. I use my Tamio, I get revolt from that. Now I'm like, oh, now I don't have to use my fetch land since now I can keep that for brainstorm or whatever. And I don't fetch. While I had other reasons to fetch as well. This is a trap I've walked into before, even when I was playing more concentrated and focused on this, but yeah, not great. This is when I have 2 reasons to do one thing. One of the reasons goes away, and we're like, okay, I no longer have a reason to do the thing, and then the other reason is still there, and I forget. Yeah, not great. So let's fetch. Yeah, I think we've lost this now. Definitely just gave away 1 card. We know might have been good. But, yeah. I'm still definitely playing it out. Might know more about their sideboard plan. Thus far, we've seen 2 Barrowglyphs. Still having the rituals in, but haven't seen a Doomsday yet. Need this to be one hell of a brainstorm and for it not to get countered. It was not. It definitely was not. Alright. I basically need that to be 3 good cards, or at least 2. 1 is not what I was hoping for. Maybe we can draw another brainstorm. I mean, we can always 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I was gonna say brainstorm into Sorin plus illusions, but I miss 1 mana to cast brainstorm and those 2. But I'll just settle for brainstorm into good stuff. Very good stuff. Like 2 fatal pushes. Do I have that remaining? I don't know. Definitely need to fetch. Get the basic. And the spell pierce. No. Alright. That was not the draw. I could see having the Brazen Borrower in against the Barrowgoyfs. And then maybe trimming on a Force of Negation. There's a good chance that they move back onto the Doomsday plan, but 1 Force of Negation isn't going to make the difference, I guess. Definitely want all the removal. Even if they move off it, they just always have a bunch of creatures left, so. Alright. Let's hope we can do some nice things. Would you like to play first? Yes. We're keeping this. Just playing the Tameo with Days Force back up and hopefully finding a 2-drop, but in the worst case scenario it survives and we can crack a clue. Yeah, that last game definitely didn't feel great. Let's hope we can do well here. On the play with some classic legacy cards. If they push here, I might just let it resolve. Could force with it. I'm not a fan of dazing it here. Alright, I didn't go. It's very likely better to just crack the clue this turn. Though I do want to make my 3rd land drop. No, if I miss a land drop, I always have the option to flip my Tameo next turn. Yeah, I'd rather cash this in now that I have 2 mana available. It's just a Thoughtseize. A frog. They already played a land. I think I'm fine getting rid of that. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, nothing with the last mana. Oh, that was a fine exchange. It was a card for card neutral, but at least I get to correct this now. love to wasteland them, but I think I want to get this Goyf going. The problem is if I don't play the Goyf here and I wasteland, then there's a chance I just don't get to play it next turn either. If I had another land, I just wastelanded Thoughtseize them here. But I'd rather test them here on having another removal spell. Because if I get to attack with this, I feel pretty good. And if they have their own, I like getting able to use my days. Then number 3 and double blue. Yeah, okay, that's fine. I mean, it's good for them, but I don't want to mess with it. Yeah, I like dazing here. It's a bit rough if I don't find a blue card that I don't have a Force of Will up anymore, but it is way better to get a exchange in here. Now we have a new blue card, so all is fine and dandy. Let's see what they have in those 3. Yeah, I'm not forcing a brainstorm here. So they need to get the revolt going and find a fatal push. Probably their best hope, or just win. But because they're still Doomsday. Well, there's the land. All right, Ponder works. Now, if they push this with 1 card in hand, I will force it. Hopefully it's not a daze, but they typically don't have that. Since this hitting should be worth about, what is it? Half to 2/3 of a card. I'm guessing closer to 2/3 in this list. Yeah, somewhere between that at least. This smiley mouth with a small body. It's just, look at it. There's nothing there. It's just all mouth. All right, let's see what they do on the ponder here. Thus far, they've seemed extremely fair post-board. We haven't seen a Doomsday yet. They do still have cyclers in their deck, but probably because they cannot board them all out. So I'm curious how much they have left. And if they changed it from game 2 to 3. But they went with no shuffle. And a frog. It's not a big frog. But I think it's a frog I'm willing to force a will. Since it's just going to connect if I... Alright, maybe it wasn't. But find another frog, that's nice. So now the question becomes, do I have to Thoughtseize here? No, I think I have to pressure them. So at least they don't have 3 black naturally now. They do have a Doomsday. Their own Barragoyf, there it is, alright. Ooh, I think that was a good draw. Let's see what we find. A land so we can get the Thoughtseize and we mill Bowmasters. Alright. Let's see what that last card is. It is a Doomsday. All right, get you folks in next round. Right, welcome to the last round. Yeah, this looks like a keep to me. Let's see if we can do some soaring things this round. Not a perfect hand. The mana's a bit wonky. We don't have a lot of blue cards, stuff like that. But I think it's worthy of a shot. Ooh, this is interesting. I really want to wasteland them, but I don't think I should. I should just Thoughtseize them and see where that gets us. Even if this gets wastelanded, we now have another land to at least get some cards going. Kind of curious what they're on. Okay, Bill Nadu, Safekeeper, Teferi, and Swords. Swords is definitely the card that has is the most efficient here. Don't really care about the Safekeeper. They don't have green mana, which is very notable. One issue I have here is having their keep their Teferi around is kind of awkward. But yeah, I think it's just Plow here, and ideally we can get a frog going and then waste them before they do anything else. But getting the frog going does mean we lose our blue card, so kind of dependent on what we draw here. So there's the basic planes. And let's see what we draw. If we find a blue card, I would have happily played out the frog. Now I have the option of wastelanding them first. It's a bit of a shame that I would have to use this on a non-green source. But if I play frog and they just the ferry bounce it, I'm pretty far behind. I could just run out the Sorin. I don't lose to the ferry, but it becomes very hard if it resolves. So if I Sorin now, I probably Barrowgoyf next turn. And just keep the force for their first spell and hope they are delayed enough. I think that's a decent plan. I'm not too convinced. I would really have loved to draw a blue card there. Since then I just jammed the frog, but like I said, I'm a bit worried about stuff not working out. Now if they don't find a land and I draw a blue card, and then we're golden, then we just wasteland to drop play the frog and go from there. There's a blue card. All right. I'll just wasteland now. Get in with the Sorin and play the frog. Then extort here. So let's see what they pitch here. They pitched it to Ferry. I think it's worth forcing here. If we just get a turn or two before they get their mana under them, it's just too good. I think this is their window to draw a land. They probably would have liked drawing a better land than that. And sometimes this world is just cruel. Let's just not give them options. Yeah, that's what I expected. That was kind of nasty. All right. So it's Nadu Zenith. Definitely a fan of Long Goodbye, Plague Engineer, and Cage here. Cage isn't the best, but it's fine. I do like the Illusions combo here, I think, because it's just so easy for them to go over the top of us. Not the biggest fan of Thoughtseize. I think I'll trim off Force. And these are kind of hard to connect with. I think they're better than Borrower. Now get rid of another Force. Maybe it's days on the... when I'm on the draw. And then I could just keep 4 forces. But no. They still have a lot of 3 drops, and I hope to remove their 1 drops. Depending on their list, I like Bowmasters or not. If they have 1/1s in their list, I like it. If they don't, I don't like it. Bilful Strix is also not great, but like playable. Yeah, let's do it like this, but not entirely sure. I think it's close enough, and I'll settle for that. Yeah, this is a keep. It's not, once again, not perfect, but this is a lot of 1/1 cards, and 1/1 cards are good. If you don't get jealous, and our opponent doesn't jealous us, so acceptable. Probably just firing this off at like any target I can find, but the lighted halfling, that is certainly a target. I wouldn't mind getting a swamp here because they do have Harbinge in sideboard, and sometimes they think it's funny to bring them in. But there's a chance I want to wasteland this game, and then I would really like to have the option to ponder or push. I should have fetched with my Misty. But I was thinking about maybe getting a swamp, and I should have finished the thought first. But no, it's fine. I had already kind of concluded that I was going for the sea. But yeah, then I should have used the Misty. Okay, Tropical Savannah. Running out the combo piece, yeah. Since I don't really have much going on, I don't mind delaying everything a bit here. So what I'll do, I'll just hit the drop. Hit the drop, I said. Right. Magic Online is having a moment. Let's indulge Magic Online. I'm actually not usually having this issue. And now I don't really have to push this immediately, so I think I'll go with a ponder first. And a shuffle. Illusions. Perfect. Just the card I needed. No, actually, it's fine. I can pitch it to foe, and if I find a Saurian, it's great to have. So the card I would like to see here is a Thoughtseize. Or Frog. Or Bowmasters. There's a lot of the cards I like to see here. Alright, getting in there. I'm playing with Sages, so no blue mana as Fiat. Definitely just pondering. There's a Thoughtseize I was talking of, and a card advantage engine after it, but I think I just like Thoughtseize here, right? Maybe there was a mistake, but I do like Thoughtseize here. There's just such a big chance that they're sitting on a removal, and kind of don't want to enable it until I see what they have going on. Zenith and 2 plows. So they were definitely on removal. Could just take the Zenith to get them off of their spells. Yeah. Plow is very good versus me, but I think I like taking it there. Carpet of Flowers is definitely not good for me. So the hand is double plow now. I only have one land. It does give them blue. All right. So if I do it like this, my wastelands become good cards. 2 remaining wastelands, yeah. All right, let's see. Cling is good here. Sorin is also nice. If they tap out of their white, I can really get them with Sorin plus Cling. I think this is tricky enough that I like getting rid of illusions in a land for now. And I think I realize why streamers complain about Magic Online being messed up. I think it's just when you have different programs on, even if you have a good PC, it just eats away at your PC's ability to keep up. Yeah, I don't think I'm running out the story now. I really want them to tap out for something out of the white, and then I can flip it and just have it as a planeswalker and be safe from the plows. Heat, right? So the question here becomes, do I just push this? No, they don't have anything going on. Yeah, let's do that. I don't know if it's good. Yeah, that may have been a mistake. Maybe it's just better to wait for them to have something good. All right, I'll keep the ponder. And if I hit a 4th land, I'm definitely gonna be looking to get the card advantage going with my Cling. No, I don't like that. That could be good if I hadn't pushed this one. I'll give the Cling one more turn. I can always cast it at end step or something. I hope they get an Arbor. My Plague Engineer would love that. It's probably a Surveil land. Yeah, the Edge Maze. Does mean they still only have 1 white, so if I find a wasteland, it's still very solid for me. They kept it on top. That might be bad for us. Might also mean that they tap out and we can do something useful. It's a ponder, right? I hope they play like a Brishy Bill here. That would be ideal. Or just something that dies to Plague Engineer. I'll settle for that. Chooses not to shuffle. I think this is the point where I just want to start drawing cards. Does get me out of that Sorin play that I really wanted, but if I just draw land, I just pass with the Cling open and draw more cards. Yeah, I'm fine with trading this for a removal spell. Like, finally a target. It is indeed finally a target. 2 unknowns now. Brainstorm. Well, I'll definitely catch the other plow with this. Yeah, that's fine. I wish I had the Cling in hand, of course, to flip my Sorin, but they also don't have the 2 plows anymore. At least the ones I knew of, so I think this is fine. I'll just attack, and I think if I want to be safe, I just play a Plague Engineer on Soldier or Core. I think Soldiers are most likely to catch something at random, but they don't have known multiple things in their deck. And I do want to get something going. So the other option is just saying, nah, you don't have it. But there's just a risk of dying, and it's way more likely that they find a Nomad than that they have one of the other enablers. Going for another non-white land. This does mean that my swords are still pretty good. My wastelands are still pretty good, I think. There's the fairy. Well, at least if it bounces something, I get to kill it, but just kill the token if it does that. Alright, they don't want me to have Plague Engineer in play. That's interesting, since that's the one that just comes back. That could mean that they actually do have a Nomad in hand. Yeah. I could just play the Sorin here, then if I draw a land, I just win. Yeah, I'm just curious about that play. I'm gonna go delay it one more turn. If I had the 4th land already, then I would just go for it, but let's see what they do. Is the Nadu arrived? No, this looks like a Zenith. Oh, that's fine. You've got it. Ponder, let's do that before we decide what to do. I would love to Thoughtseize them, but I can't have the land and the Thoughtseize this turn. Well, I can, but then I cannot set up for the next turn. Yeah, so I will do that. No. Just protect ourselves a bit and then go another turn delay on the Sorin and the illusions. Well, that's bad for us. Well, at least they're not countering our Sorin combo with it, I guess. Didn't even thought about that, but There's definitely a way to get back for them, because I wanted Thoughtseize to be safe, but now it's just drawing them into more cards. Yeah, that's just jam. Frog. Sorry. Now they need to have a good Nadu turn where they also find something to interact with me, which is, well, reasonable. They've only used 2 swords. They have 3 creatures if they have a Nadu. They probably have to draw it though. Alright. Looks like we get to finish our league by doing our thing. Kind of sad that we're basically already winning, but because earlier this week when I played this in paper, I got a mono red player with it twice in a row. Without anything else going on, I was losing those games. Alright, we did the thing. 3 and 2. The conclusion is we're not great against the 4 Caracas or whatever Yorion decks. Yeah, I still think the deck is fun. We definitely play more with it. Not surprised that like I said, the Yorion Caracas decks aren't great matchups since they just outgrind you and have a lot of removal. Would I change anything based on this league? Not really, honestly. It's a bit awkward to only have 2 days. Maybe this main deck has too much removal for a deck that also tries to do this thing. Maybe you do just need to play more action spells. Could see this, and like I said at the start, could see playing more illusions and more Sorins, but other than that, yeah, that was it. 3 and 2, pretty solid. Probably play another league with this and see if we can get a better result. So, check you folks later, and if you like the video, please like and subscribe. That definitely helps me and shows me that maybe I should do more of this stuff. So have fun. Cheers.